Summit County is home to 435 eateries, and we've got results of restaurant inspections. Phil Lindeman, Krystal, 93 News. First, Summit County Democrats were feeling the burn on Super Tuesday, choosing Bernie Sanders in the presidential primary with 37% of the local vote, roughly 2,200 people. That's 10% more than runner-up Joe Biden and nearly 20% more than third place Michael Bloomberg. Local Dems mirrored the state, where Sanders won 36% of the vote, 13% more than Biden, 15% more than Bloomberg. President Donald Trump claimed the Republican primary, 86.7% of local voters, roughly 1,900 people, and 92.5% statewide. Online pundits were quick to pounce on numbers this morning, claiming Trump alone earned more votes in Colorado than all three Democratic frontrunners. But as of 3:30 this afternoon, that is not accurate. Sanders, Biden, and Bloomberg combined have 4.5% more votes than the president. Add surprise contender Elizabeth Warren, and that gap grows to 27%. Statewide, Democratic voters represented 55% of all primary ballots. In Summit, Dems were 64%. Presidential primaries open a jam-packed election year, ending in November with the presidential and general election. This Saturday, local Democrats host a caucus to pick federal, state, and local candidates and a party platform. Patty McLaughlin with Summit County Dems.
This is where democracy is at best because you're interacting with neighbors.
McLaughlin says the biggest race is U.S. Senate, with 5 Democrats trying to unseat incumbent Republican Cory Gardner, including Andrew Romanoff, John Hickenlooper, Stephanie Rose Spalding, Eric Underwood, and Trish Zornio.
This is the time for you to participate and not be in November complaining that you don't like any of the candidates. You have a chance to actually be part of which candidates get on the ballot.
After this weekend's caucus comes the County Assembly on March 25th and State Assembly in mid-April. The Democratic caucus is on Saturday, starting 2 p.m. at Summit Middle School. Republicans, find your caucus location online at cologop.org. This week, on the State of Summit, county health inspectors walk us through a new process for hundreds of restaurant inspections.
We're really more focused on the holistic operation of the facility.
That was Dan Hendershot, Environmental Health Manager for Summit County, explaining a new point system for restaurant inspections known as a risk index.
We cite individual violations, and each of those violations has a point value associated with it.
Summit County is home to 435 eateries, roughly one for every 70 full-time residents, and each one is randomly inspected twice a year, including school cafeterias and convenience stores.
Last year, people would say, "Did I pass or fail?" And we'd say, "Well, you failed on this item, you passed on this item, you failed on this item." Now there is that more holistic approach to assessing risk of a facility.
Earn more than 50 points, and a restaurant is put on notice. Earn more than 110, and that is an imminent health hazard.
Lack of temperature control, keeping cold foods too warm, or having sick employees working, not washing your hands good. Those items are the ones that we're really interested in, and so have bigger points associated with them.
The new risk index debuted in January 1st, and since then, only Doma 1898 on Main Street, Breckenridge has scored over 110.
They addressed those concerns immediately on the spot, and we allowed them to stay open, and then we did a follow-up full inspection. I believe it was 2 days later.
The results?
They showed significant improvement and convinced us that they have control of their establishment.
Doma's score 2 days later was an 11, a 100-point improvement. Restaurant inspections are published online on the Summit County website. Hendershot recommends reading the narrative and points at the bottom for a quick snapshot of concerns. Tune in again tomorrow for a list of the cleanest and most troubled restaurants in Summit on The State of Summit on Krystal 93. In sports, the Avalanche played the Ducks tonight at 7:30 on NBCSN. And in local sports, brought to you by American Family Insurance, the Weiss Agency, spring sports season is 3 days away at Summit High when boys lacrosse opens the season with scrimmages in Grand Junction. Phil Lindeman, Krystal, 93 News.